Hello, this is a video about my perspective, or I don't know, it's it is not like a specific how is the living with INFJ. It is more like some moments because it is hard to now interpret all of our situations, but I think that will lose goal, so I make some notes to make it easier, or I will rather read it. It will be maybe easier for me. The first video that I make, it was like instant in the moment when I was just in some kind figure out that I'm INFP, and a little bit after that was like being aware that I'm living with INFJ, which is my daughter. At first I read it down that for me is heartbreaking not being able to have it's like a prolonged feeling of deeper connection, because I am idealist. It is maybe critical and maybe too much what I'm asking for. My daughter have her own world. It's like I believe having good fun in it. Her life is always based on one or two friends, and all of that is somehow reminded me of myself and my years and my life. I remember when she was like at first grade of primary school, she didn't know who to invite on her birthday party, and it was very strange for me. I didn't know if she's like don't know anybody to invite, or could not pick up from her friends who, and I decided to invite all class. And that party was very interesting because there were a whole bunch of children and everybody was playing outside because it was good weather, and she was in her room with two classmates and playing video games. It was like I wanted to take her out, and she find a way to stay in the house in her room. What is else? When I divorced, before I left the house, before I think the second year, 2017 will be 5 years. For a few years of that, she did not invite her best friends to birthday party to my house where we lived, because I got custody. And I believe this year I decided to invite myself three or four she's classmates, and I was pretty worried what will be her reaction, because I didn't do that, never. And she was shocked, but after, when she came home, she was like giving me a hug and saying, "Mother, I thank you. It was a real good day for me." I was pretty scared because I'm the opposite. I don't like surprises. I had one from my friends. I was very thankful, but I could not be overwhelmed because for everything I had to take some time. Um, what else? Let me see. Mm, I always, often, when she was like walking to the primary school, was going near the road, and when she turned her back, I was standing and observing her. And I think that she didn't notice, but I was observing how she aligned her clothes, like everything had to be on the right spot. And for some people that could be like a good thing, but I was sad because a little bit sad because I think that she's pretty, I don't know how to say to her, like don't know how to say. Um, all of that gave some thoughts to me because I was like, when I was having children, I was like reading a lot of books in which it was like for kindergartens and trying to reach for songs for children and books to read them. And I got one which would for maybe more like teens, and my kids were like not in that years yet. And in that book were like three types of parents. One was like translated on English jellyfish. There were fortress, something like that, a big house, I don't know, and backbone or spine. It means that on the end, like jellyfish makes fortress and reverse. But if you are family like spins or backbones, that's good in some way. That was the end for that, and I always thought that I was like jellyfish and my kids become like fortress. I rather would like to not to be like that. Um, what else? Oh, I remember a lot of times when I embarrass my teen, and she like tell me these days because I always see when she's like frozen or stiff, and I do some kind of comment or something that will break that, and she's always like looking at me and tell me something to make me be more, I don't know, adult maybe. uh, in most of the time she had headphones on ears, uh, and don't go anywhere. She's in her room. She likes to listen music on YouTube a lot. When she was in kindergarten, I had a few times comments from kindergarten teachers. It was not often, but only complaint was that she was a lot of time alone and do not play with all of children. And I was like joking, you are lucky to not have me in your kindergarten because I was like Peter Pan, more like a boy who had all these crazy ideas. um, I think that title of strange is affect because INFJ don't allow everybody to know them. Um, because of that, they give strange because someone didn't get to know them. Uh, I have one more. My friend from work was like offering nail polish for my daughter, and it was pink and gray with a lot of sparks, and I thanked her and say that my daughter is more like nun. She don't use makeup, and that's also like me a lot. And in one moment in my life when I was more like a woman and embracing woman in me and starting to use makeup and nail polish, I remember that my daughter came to me and say, "Oh, mother, please don't do that." But she likes my shoes, which were very feminine. The other, I have one strange situation because of my daughter is INFJ. There are a lot of comedy videos about INFP, and because of that I could not do reverse of INFJ because one of them is my family. So that's it. I think that she was a lot of quiet and and I think that a lot of our time is from British, I believe, TV series, Absolutely Fabulous, when that hippie woman have a daughter which is like being, I don't know, not hippie, and I always remind myself of that. That is all about my living with INFJ.